00. Albinism in Tanzania, Bailey Ansberger and Claire Anderson. The popular belief existing in Africa in the 2000s was that albino people were subhuman.
Often referred to as nobodies, ghosts, or 00, this population was systematically hunted and denied the most basic of human rights.
Only in recent decades have the perceptions of these people been changing, both politically and socially. What is albinism? Albinism is a condition in which the body does not produce pigment due to a lack of melanin. The hair, skin, and eyes of an albino are all pale. Africa has the highest rate of albinism in the world. Due to the fact that they have incredibly pale skin, persons with albinism or PWAs are highly susceptible to skin cancer. Eye conditions are also common among persons with albinism, including nearsightedness and astigmatism. Commonly, they will be legally blind, having uncorrectable 2400 vision.
Witch doctors and witchcraft in Tanzania. Tanzania has a rich culture of witchcraft. A few times, witchcraft and the African law have conflicted with each other. This can be seen in the Rex versus Kumwaka case in 1931. A woman accused of witchcraft was killed and the murderers were sent to court. Seers and prophets were also extremely common in Kenyan culture. A seer named Sioki Mao in the late 19th century was believed to predict the rise of the railroad in Kenya. She stated that there would be, quote, a long and narrow snake that would move from the coast to the setting sun, end quote, bringing people with skin, quote, like raw meat, who talk like birds, end quote. In other words, as a village elder said, she predicted the rise of the railroad and the Caucasian people that it brought. Also, rainmakers were popular, singing that the rain would bring crop for them to feed their husbands. Whether witchcraft did or did not work, the general African populace still believed that witch doctors were who they said they were. For long periods of time, people in southern Africa have practiced ui, the practice of magical harm, or muchi, medicinal murder.
Witch doctors have often been used as messengers, so to speak, between the spiritual and physical world. They supposedly communicated with genies, the spiritual personalities of people who have passed away. In 2009, witch doctors and their practices were banned. However, that ban was lifted in 2011. Witch doctors still in practice usually have followers because they are believed to have magical powers. As a result of quickly spreading rumors, people tend to blindly follow these witch doctors and assume that through this they will gain a high place in society. Witch doctors have been most commonly found in rural areas, but even urban politicians have been customers of witch doctors and have asked for the outcome of future elections. Accounts have been made by the Tanzanian government to stop the proceedings of witch doctors, but deep traditions and ever-present cultural beliefs have kept these superstitions alive.
Albinos in most of southern Africa have been considered subhuman. They have been oftentimes hunted for their body parts, valuables which can cost thousands of United States dollars on the black market. Albinos have been considered to be ghosts by the majority of the population. Thus, it has been the common belief that they cannot die. Albino children have been considered curses against the family, and most of the times have been killed on sight at birth. In other words, a living albino has been considered bad luck and a dead one good luck. A set of albino organs can cost up to $10,000 US on the black market. So-called witch doctors have been sending people to hunt and kill albinos for their highly valued body parts. More than 50 albinos are murdered every 2 years. In that time, hardly any murder convictions go through. Even then, the defendants are hardly ever punished because witch doctors hold a high place in society.
Violations of Rights and Responsibilities, the UDHR. The PWA killings in Tanzania violate a majority of the articles in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, or the UDHR. Article 1. All human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. they are endowed with reason and conscience and should act towards one another in a spirit of brotherhood. The PWA killings in Tanzania reflect the zeitgeist of the feelings towards persons with albinism in southern Africa. This violates the Universal Declaration of Human Rights' first article because persons with albinism have been and continue to be treated as subhuman as part of the Tanzanian culture.
Article 2. Everyone is entitled to all the rights and freedoms set forth in this declaration, without distinction of any kind, such as race, color, sex, language, religion, political or other opinion, national or social origin, property, birth, or other status. Furthermore, no distinction shall be made on the basis of the political, jurisdictional, or international status of the country or territory to which a person belongs, whether it be independent, trust, non-self-governing, or under any other limitations of sovereignty. The albino discrimination in this South Africa violates this article because of the fact that albinos are discriminated for their skin color because of the existing cultural beliefs surrounding them.
Article 3. Everyone has the right to life, liberty, and security of person. This article is violated because most PWAs have been killed on site at birth and are often denied medical care. For example, PWA Lissa of Tanzania says she is afraid of other people. Quote, "They will cut me," end quote, she says.
No one shall be subjected to torture or to cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment. Albino killings and discrimination violate this article of the UDHR in that, in most places in southern Africa, albinos are having their body parts maimed because of their culture and the stigma that surrounds them.
Article 6. Everyone has the right to recognition everywhere as a person before the law. Despite the fact that these albino killings are horrendous crimes, the people who commit them are oftentimes never persecuted for their inhumane deeds. The first conviction of the murder of an albino was in 2009. This is mostly due to the fact that witch doctors hold a high position in society. Article 6. Everyone has the right to recognition everywhere as a person before the law. Despite the fact that these PWA killings are horrendous crimes, the people who commit them have oftentimes never been persecuted for their inhumane deeds. Since the year 2000, 72 persons with albinism have been murdered due to the superstition. Only 5 out of the 6 dozen cases were successfully prosecuted.
Article 12. No one shall be subjected to arbitrary interference with his privacy, family, home, or correspondence, nor to attacks upon his honor and reputation. Everyone has the right to protection of the law and against such interference or attacks. Despite the fact that albino killings are deep-rooted into history, the first publicly known prosecution was in 2009. Oftentimes, these prosecutions amount to nothing, as most of the time they are influenced by the prejudice of the populace. Article 21, Part 1. Everyone has the right to take part in the government of his country, directly or through freely chosen representatives. Part 2. Everyone has the right of equal access to public service in his country. Part 3. The will of the people shall be the basis of the authority of government. This will shall be expressed in the periodic and genuine elections, which shall be by universal and equal suffrage, and shall be held by secret vote or by equivalent free voting procedures. This article's rights have been denied to the albino race living in Tanzania. Tanzanian albinos have never been elected to parliament, but that changed in September of 2010. In 2010, they elected Salum Kafar Barwani. He says, "This is a win not only for me, but also for all the other albinos in this country."
Article 22. Everyone, as a member of society, has the right to social security and is entitled to realization through national effort and international cooperation and in accordance with the organization and resources of each state of the economic, social, and cultural rights indispensable for his dignity and the free development of his personality. This article has been denied to PWAs living in Tanzania because, in some cases, PWAs were denied jobs as a result of their condition.
Article 27, Part 1. Everyone has the right freely to participate in the cultural life of the community, to enjoy the arts, and to share in the scientific advancement and its benefits. Part 2. Everyone has the right to protection of the moral and material interests resulting from any scientific,
literary or artistic production of which he is author. Albino killings and discrimination is part of the culture in which many albinos live in southern Africa. They are denied, however, the more positive aspects of their cultural life and of their community.
Changes for PWA. In February of 2008, Tanzanian President Jakaya Kikwete ordered for a crackdown on the hunting and killing of albinos. Kikwete also welcomed the first PWA member of cabinet that year. In 2008, Under the Same Sun, an organization that promotes PWA rights, was founded by a Canadian PWA named Peter Ash. In 2009, as mentioned before, there was a ban put on witch doctors and their practices. The world as a whole was becoming more aware about the lack of human rights given to PWAs in Tanzania and other South African countries. Conclusion. In summary, the rights of persons with albinism during the late 1900s and early 2000s were infringed upon through so-called witchcraft and superstition. Only after 2008 did the Tanzanian government recognize the need to protect PWA and persecute their attackers. Although PWA killings still occur, the responsibilities of Tanzanian citizens have been restored and the rights to albinos, socially and politically.